Hello everyone, so this is going to be a different video. I am going to tell you why I do not want Kamala Harris to win the presidency and why I want Donald Trump to win the presidency. First, a little backstory. I wasn't 100% on board for Donald Trump when he first came out and said he was running. I liked the dude at the time, but I was like, I don't really know. I was actually kind of interested in Bernie Sanders, I'll be completely honest with you. But the day that I saw that Hillary Clinton won the nomination, I said, fuck that, I'm voting for Donald Trump. Before that, when Barack Obama was president, I didn't pay attention to politics at all. I remember having short conversations with people in like my homeroom in like 11th or 12th grade. I remember someone saying that they don't really know what Obama's done in the White House. So that's something that I did witness, okay? But that's how I came to like Donald Trump and how I came into politics, because I've told people this many times, and for some reason they don't seem to hear me at all. And that is, ever since then, I have been following politics almost every minute of every day. If somehow you go back on my Facebook over the last 8 years, you would see on average probably 5 to 10 political posts a day. So I'm not an expert, obviously. I'm not an aficionado or anything like that. I'll leave that to the people who have studied politics a lot longer than I have. But I understand a little bit, at least, for the most part, how politics works. And I remember back then, people would even tell me, like, I was too young to understand what was going on. Even though I was fucking 21 years old. Like, literally, 21 years old. I can drink, but apparently I don't know enough about American politics to vote for Donald Trump. And even nowadays, people will look at me or tell me, get on my Facebook page, and they'll be like, people have been friends with me for all this time, and they'll be like, basically along the lines, oh, you only like Donald Trump because it's cool. No, I liked Donald Trump before it was cool. Before people stopped harassing, threatening, beating, stealing hats off of Trump supporters, which is what Democrats do. And I've seen many videos. This is the difference between me and other people. I watch many videos of normal people talking about this stuff, and they don't like what's going on at all. And it's kind of heartbreaking for me to say that too, because, you know, I grew up being told that the Democrat Party is the party for the people and the common man, and the Republican Party is all about the money. And look, I'm not going to say the Republicans aren't all about the money. I'm not going to say that at all, guys, okay? But to pretend that Democrats, at least Democrats today, don't care about money, why are they so rich? I don't know. And most people don't know, Donald Trump did not get paid to be president. First of all, he didn't need to, obviously. But, like, he wasn't paid to be president, and he gave that money to charity. That's actually a fact. Most people don't even know that. So, like, that's actually a fact. But I grew up all my life being told this, okay? As an adult, I call absolute bullshit on that. If anything, the Democrats care more about power than they do about the people. Everything they've done over the last 4 years, again, I've witnessed it all. Guys, I've witnessed it all. It's fucking stupid, okay? Like, it's kind of heartbreaking. I really thought the Democrats were for the people. And honestly, if they were for the people, they wouldn't be lying so much. They wouldn't let the mainstream media lie so much. So it's all just talk. I'm not going to say, I think Republicans are now more for the people than they've ever been, for sure. But, yeah, I was told that all my life, and as an adult, I call absolute bullshit on that. Okay, I've given you a little bit of backstory and all that stuff. I'm a Donald Trump supporter. I will never, ever apologize for it unless he does a way worse job than either Biden or Harris has done, or than he did in 2016 through 2020. That's the only way I'll ever apologize for it, literally. So we'll see what he ends up doing, but I will never, ever apologize for being a Trump supporter, ever. There's many reasons why I can't support the Democrat Party either, and a lot of that is going to go into what I'm going to be talking about right now. But let me just start off by saying I cannot stand Kamala Harris. I honestly wish it was Joe Biden. I would take Joe Biden over Kamala Harris any day. At least he has senility going for him. Kamala Harris doesn't even have that. And speaking of that, she keeps trying to say that, oh, this is going to be a new generation of leadership. New generation, what, 20 years younger than what Joe Biden and Donald Trump are? Like, get out of here. I was raised in a middle-class family. Yeah, like 30 years before I was even fucking born. How does that help me today, Kamala? How does that help me? All right, I've gone on long enough. Here are some of the fundamental reasons why I will not support Kamala Harris. I have 3. They're the big issues: the economy, immigration, and foreign policy. I mean, yeah, foreign policy. Those are the three things. And yes, this video is going to have some graphics and some actual evidence right here to prove my point, okay? So that's what this is going to be, okay? So let's talk about the economy first. First, let's talk about it under Donald Trump. Donald Trump gave the lowest unemployment rate in 40 to 50 years among Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, and women. Did y'all forget about that? Here's the articles right here. And you know how in school they taught us how .gov websites are supposed to be like the most like credible sources for like papers and stuff? Well, this is from a .gov website that spells it all out right here. I have it up here for the whole entire segment here. But he did that, okay? Now, again, if you didn't notice, I'm fucking Asian American. I was adopted. I was raised here starting at 3 months after I was born. So I was not born in this country, but I've been raised here literally my entire life. So that's another bit of backstory for that. And there's one of the contrasts between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Donald Trump, lowest unemployment rate for all those things I just said. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, of course, highest inflation in 40 years. We all know this. I witnessed 6-pack of 16 fluid ounce Mountain Dew go from like $2.15, $2.20 to like $4 or $5 within a couple months. We also I've been a driver for a long time. We also saw gas go from like $2.20, at least in New York where I'm from, $2.20 or so to like $4 or $5. And I've seen other places over the last couple years that reached like $7, $8 a gallon. Do you realize how much money that is in your gas tank? If let's say you would only for $2.20 put in like $20, $25 a gallon, which a full tank, which is what I was doing under Donald Trump. But now it's like 50, or at least at one point it was 50. So again, those are just a little bit of the economic parts. You guys can look up whatever you want to. But as far as the economy goes, it's very fucking clear that Donald Trump had a better economy. And again, you can just look at the polls. That's exactly what the polls are saying. People like to talk about, you know, the national polls and swing state polls. And obviously those are way more important. But you also got to look at the crosstabs too. Who do people trust more to handle these issues? Donald Trump. And yes, I know abortion is for the Democrats, but abortion's always been for them, but I'm not talking about that. Okay, so that's what I got right now on Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's economic policies. Then came August, and the Afghanistan withdrawal happened. The one that they continue to say was a success, even though they left billions of dollars of our own equipment to a terrorist organization called the Taliban, who also, I must say this out loud, who also put the women back into the homes and out of schools and suppressed them. So for all the talk about, oh, America suppresses women and all that stuff, or oppresses women and all that stuff, which is what I heard after Donald Trump won the first time, y'all don't say anything about other countries. And I'll get to that more in a second. No, screw it. You don't say anything about other countries. Y'all say that, oh, climate change. Climate change is important. Climate change is what's happening to our country. And our country is awful. Like, we're a terrible country for the environment. But then they don't look at China, which produces the most pollution in the world. In fact, in South Korea, they actually have radars for that shit. For everyday life. Like, but none of y'all want to call out China for that. So that's another contradiction here. Now I'm just kind of going off. None of this was planned, by the way. I had some of it planned, but now I'm just kind of going off because I've been in this for a long time, guys. I've been watching what's going on, and fuck the mainstream media, by the way. Fuck them. Okay, seriously. They are garbage, trash, unethical pieces of shit. That's what they are. If you actually have sat and watched them for more than 10 minutes, which I have obviously done, you will know this. They hate Trump supporters. They despise us. They do not understand how we could possibly vote for a billionaire because those are supposed to be the terrible people, right? Those are supposed to be the terrible people. Well, y'all just left all that shit in Afghanistan and got 13 service members killed while Joe Biden said up on the stage, oh yeah, we had no troops deaths under our watch. Fucking stupid. But it's like, no, the Afghanistan withdrawal was terrible. That's what they did, guys. That's what they did. And Kamala Harris, here's another picture. Kamala Harris was the last person in the room. She said it, and she said she was comfortable with it. Although, if you look at this face, you can tell that it was a fucking disaster, and she knows it. She might even know it better than anyone, honestly. Now, for all the talk of Donald Trump being a threat to democracy, a threat to democracy, even though Joe Biden tried to mandate that people take the COVID-19 vaccine or they basically lose their jobs and their livelihoods. This is what he did, okay? And the Daily Wire had to fight back for it, and they won it because it was unconstitutional. They talk about democracy, and yet they wanted to force Americans to take a vaccine that some of them didn't even want to take. You call that a democracy? Hell, you call that a republic? As the great George Carlin once said, even in a fake democracy, people ought to get what they want once in a while just to feed this illusion that they're really in charge. I mean, George Carlin was the best. Rest in peace. That dude would not have survived today. Most comedians like him would not have survived today from back then. So I gotta say that about that. But no, seriously, they say that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, and yet they want to raise the filibuster. They want to pack the Supreme Court because apparently when there's liberals, when there's Democrats on the court and they make decisions, oh, everything's fine. Oh, the Supreme Court's just doing their job. But when Republicans have the advantage, when conservatives have the advantage, oh, the Supreme Court needs to be changed. The Supreme Court needs to be... First of all, for anyone who's in politics, you should automatically know the Supreme Court doesn't have anything to do with you. There are checks and balances, sure, but the judicial branch is completely separated from the legislative and the executive branch. How do you people not know this? I'm sorry, I keep going on and on. I don't even know how many people are going to watch this far. But I'm just telling you guys, this is what they did. I'm not giving you my opinion. I mean, I'm giving you my opinion on most of it, obviously, because I think it's all negative. But I'm providing facts to you guys. This is what they did. And anyone telling you otherwise is straight up lying to you because they don't want you to know the truth. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about was foreign policy because they absolutely botched it. I mean, the Afghanistan withdrawal, Joe Biden, here's another link that I had. Joe Biden came out and said, you will not see a scenario, I'm paraphrasing, but you will not see a scenario where people are being airlifted off of the U.S. Embassy. Yeah, about that, Joe Biden. Fucking idiot. So, foreign policy, absolutely not. And yes, it is a fact when Trump says this. Because they showed weakness on the stage of the last 4 presidents that we've had, including Joe Biden, the only time that he did not invade another neighboring country was under Donald Trump. Facts. So this is obviously a much more unorganized version of what I've seen other people give. But I'm just trying to give the rundown here. Democrats do not deserve my vote. The other thing I have to talk about, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about before this. If I forget anything, I'll just mention it after. But I cannot stand identity fucking politics. If identity fucking politics was not important to these people, Kamala Harris would never have seen the White House under Joe Biden. But he came out. I witnessed it. I witnessed with my own 2 eyes him come out and say he was looking for a black female vice president. Kamala Harris did not last until the first primary. So when people say that she's never received a vote for president in her life, they actually mean it. Because they just inserted her in there. Even Jim Gaffigan on in the Al Smith dinner recognized this. And it was an amazing joke. It really was. They say Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. So what did they do? Because they were so concerned about it? Oh yeah, they threw out the incumbent president that they made sure was the incumbent by not having any competitors during the primaries. Again, if any of you don't believe me at this point, look it up. This is what they did. This was only a couple months ago. That's the other thing. Kamala Harris said that Joe Biden was mentally fit, and so did a lot of other people. Alejandro Mayorkas said it, and then Biden completely forgot his name when he was right in front of him. That must have been embarrassing, but it was hilarious to me. But Kamala Harris said, and she's still saying it to this day, that Joe Biden is sharp as a tack. Joe Biden is still with it. Okay? So why isn't he running? Why isn't he running right now? Oh yeah, because he had that disastrous debate where he proved everyone right with what we have been saying for the last 5 years at the very best. And now he's saying shit like that, we're garbage. He said, the only people I see garbage out there are his supporters. I don't even know who supports the comedian the Puerto Rican comedian. I don't even know who he is. And Donald Trump says he doesn't know who he is, but I legitimately do not know who that guy is, and still don't even remember his name. And most Puerto Ricans don't even give a shit about that. And for anyone who thinks that garbage thing was talking shit about Puerto Rico. I wasn't talking about shit about Puerto Rico. I was talking about the fact that, yeah, they have a giant waste problem there. And I've seen other Puerto Ricans even mention this too. And that's why they thought the joke was either funny or completely accurate. Again, I watched videos of all these people talking about this stuff. These are everyday American voters, not the mainstream media, not media people in general, and definitely not politicians. So, again, if you just watch these people, you know everything you need to know. That's all you got to do. I once witnessed, like, someone who was in their 60s, a Democrat female, who literally said every time Trump says something, like, stupid or crazy, he's just like, oh, she's like, oh my God. But his policies were better. I witnessed her say this. Honestly, they should have put that in all the campaign commercials. They should have asked her, hey, do you mind if we use this in our commercials? Because you just gave us the perfect summation. Donald Trump, when he says crazy things, oh my God, I don't like it, but his policies were better. Anyone with a brainstem could look back at the last 8 years and see that. And Kamala Harris has the audacity to be like, oh, the last 10 years? The last 10 years, guys. Let's do the math. Obama was president for 2 to 3 of those years. And you were vice president, and Joe Biden was president over the last 4 years. And then Donald Trump was president 4 years before that. If I'm doing the math correctly, that means Democrats have been in power in the White House for 6 to 7 of those 10 years. So you mean to tell me the last decade was the problem? Even at one point I saw her say this, the last decade of Donald Trump. I know what she means by that, probably that, oh, him running for president. But that's not why people think that the country's in the wrong direction. 80% of people thought it was going in the wrong direction at that point. I know this is very long, guys. I meant to put this on Facebook too, like my Facebook stories. I doubt any of you are going to watch it this far, but like I'm editing this and I'm giving facts and information. It's all right in front of you, okay? For anyone who's undecided. And the thing I always say, for anyone that's trying to convince me to dislike Donald Trump and or to vote for Kamala Harris, know what a President Trump administration will look like. And we know what a Kamala Harris administration will look like. We all know what it looks like. This is nothing new. So when we say turn the page, technically we would only be turning the page if we were turning the page from Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, which now we're not going to be able to do until 4 years from now, regardless of what happens. But like, I can't stand these people, guys. I've been going on for too long, probably much longer than I meant to. But it's just, I can't do it, guys. The identity politics of Democrats is just insulting. I think they've made racism a joke. I think they've made racism an absolute joke. And I ain't no white supremacist because I'm fucking Asian. But, like, I just can't do it, guys. They play with you. Generally speaking, the economy was better under Donald Trump, and it sucked under Biden and Harris. We all know this. Corporations, honestly, they're not as greedy as you guys think. And if they are, they're just as greedy on the Democrat side as they are on the Republican side. Did you see Chris Cuomo? He mentioned how the elite seats were all like $50,000 at like the start of it. You think like there's a teachers union up there? Like, anyone who says that the Democrats aren't for the elites are completely misunderstand what the Democrats have been doing all this time. I know this has been a long-ass video, but like I've never put this into video like this before, so I'm just doing it all right now. Guys, vote Donald Trump. I know some of you guys don't like his rhetoric, and I know some of you guys don't like what he says, but the mainstream media always takes what he says out of context. They did it for the bloodbath when he was talking about the auto industry, and they did it for Liz Cheney. Okay? I can come out and say, hey, you love war so much? Why don't you go to the front lines and fight for us then? Oh, you're not going to do that? So why the fuck do you like war then? Huh? That's what Donald Trump was saying if you actually watch it. I was telling people, this is like if you wrote a book and you didn't write the beginning and you didn't write the end, but you wrote the middle. And no one had a clue what was going on because there was no setup and there was no payoff at the end. So it's like, guys, you're just harming yourselves. And if Donald Trump wins this election, I hope that the mainstream media's legacy is trashed after that. So they did nothing but lie to you. I do not believe that the 2020 election was stolen, but it was obviously rigged against Donald Trump. The media held the Hunter Biden laptop, which ended up being proven true, Russia disinformation. And people are worried about Russia interfering with the election. First of all, Russia's not the only one trying to interfere with our elections if they're actually trying to do it. Like, Iran definitely wants Kamala Harris to win because she ain't gonna bomb the shit out of them like Donald Trump fucking did, which is another thing. Donald Trump killed terrorists. Democrats help terrorists. Just look at this. So, the economy was better under Donald Trump. Immigration was better under Donald Trump. It still wasn't perfect. I'm not going to sit here and say that he did like flawlessly on it. But I had someone once try to tell me, oh yeah, you mean that Trump did so much. So like that border wall that like wasn't finished or whatnot. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, you mean the border wall that Democrats in states too, not just in Congress, tried every waking moment to make sure did not happen. You mean that wall? Trump would have gotten the wall done if Democrats just kept their fucking mouths shut. The same Democrats who said that we need immigration to be fair in this country. From the same people like Barack Obama who said you need to learn English if you're going to come to this country. Now, if Donald Trump says it, it's racist. So, see why I mean racism is a fucking joke now? I can't even take it seriously. Okay? That's why I just can't do it, guys. This is a long video. I'm sorry. But, again, it's all in just into one video. I love Donald Trump. He should be spending every waking moment spending time with his family and playing golf and enjoying his money. That's it. Instead, he's getting shot in the ear, almost assassinated. For those of you who think that the assassination was staged, I think you're fucking idiots. But nonetheless, I don't understand when people look at what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have done, because yes, she owns everything. She was the last vote in the Inflation Reduction Act, which absolutely did not lower inflation. I watched the numbers waiting for it to go down, and it never did. Not until now, which is whoopity fucking do, right? Like, yeah, a couple months out of 3.5 years. Yeah, that's amazing, guys. You did such a good job. Like fuck. And like, I didn't even talk extensively about the border yet, which is fucking awful. I hope people are still watching this. But like, I haven't even talked about the border yet. We got record number, like 200,000 people dying a year, probably more, from fentanyl coming across the border from the cartels, and also children being trafficked across the border, women being trafficked across the border, and yet America is the worst country ever. Like, what, guys, what? None of this computes, guys. None of this computes. Why do you think he's winning by Latinos right now? Hell, why do you think he's winning because of black people right now? All these illegal immigrants, they're taking over Detroit, they're taking over Chicago, they're taking over all these Democrat cities, and the black people are being neglected. Stephen A. Smith, who voted Kamala Harris, even came out and said that was a stupid idea. Because what about the homeless black people in New York, huh? Why aren't they getting all this money? Whatever. So, yeah. Those are just the many reasons why I support Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. I'm sure I'm missing things, but I got to the crux of what I wanted to do. Afghanistan withdrawal was a fucking terrible idea. I mean, not idea. It was a good idea, but terrible execution. Okay? But, and the economy was better under Donald Trump. Everyone fucking knows it, including the media and including Democrats. They all know it. Okay? Now, I understand why people have personal reasons to why they do not like Donald Trump. But I know why the Democrats and the media do not like Donald Trump. Have you ever seen that he's actually gone on The View, where they were basically kissing up to him the whole time? And he was on Stephen Colbert, who was also kissing up to him the whole time. And then Donald Trump came out as a Republican. And that's when they all turned heel. And Democrats saw this, a white billionaire, facing off against possibly the first female president in U.S. history. And they underestimated how bad the establishment was. If you hate the establishment, vote Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is the giant middle finger to the establishment, okay? He just is. And I fucking love it, because if Barack Obama did such an amazing job, why are black communities absolutely not better than they were back then? I mean, I don't know how they were back then because I didn't pay attention to that stuff, as I said. But, like, again, this stuff doesn't compute, guys. Kamala Harris can't answer any questions. She still can't answer what she's going to do on day one, except there's a package that I'm going to roll out. Okay, Kamala, what's in that package, huh? Oh, but you're not going to answer that. Okay, you're just going to do what every politician says. We're going to help the middle class. We're going to do this, do that, and do that. It's all political jargon. That's all it is, guys. Okay? So tomorrow is election day. It's probably election day by the time this gets posted. But, like, vote Donald Trump, guys. If you don't like Donald Trump, just don't vote at all, okay? If you like any of the things that the Kamala Harris and the Biden-Harris administration has done, that's bad. And we all know what they are, and I've just mentioned them all at this point. If you like that, if you like women being trafficked across the border, if you like kids being trafficked across the border, if you like drugs pouring through the border, if you like people like Lincoln Riley and the 12-year-old girl that got brutally murdered for like a couple hours at least, no one says anything about that. If you like that, you should probably vote for Kamala Harris. If you do not like that, don't vote at all. Just don't do it, guys. Okay? I'm sorry that was a long one, guys. This is not how this was supposed to go, but I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. Like, Kamala Harris, just no. I don't understand why people think she's a good politician. She was even, for like months and years, she was less popular than Joe Biden. And they put her in? I really don't know, guys. Honestly, the only way they can win at this point is by actually cheating. That's it, guys. I don't think they cheated in 2020, but they definitely rigged it. Okay? And that's the other thing. Like, they talk about unity. Oh, we want to unify the party, and yet I'm a fucking Nazi, apparently. That's what they fucking say. And I'm going to say it for the record here. Saying that Donald Trump is like Hitler is one of the dumbest thoughts ever thought by a human being. Ever. If you think that, and you say that out loud, every Jew that died in the fucking Holocaust deserves to rise up from the grave and punch you in the fucking face. Because Trump has never made an internment camp and has never gassed people. Like, what the fuck? And yet, the Democrats are all about joy. You know who was also about joy? Joseph fucking Stalin. You know who was also about price gouging? Hitler. Fucking Adolf Hitler. But you don't see me calling her Hitler or her supporters Nazis. That was something I forgot to say earlier while I was editing this video. Unity, but I'm a fucking Nazi. Okay, sure. So, I have no closing for this, guys. Make America great again. Please. Donald Trump has to win this election. The Democrats have been nothing but fucked us over for the last decade, Kamala Harris. You've been in power for 6 to 7 years of those 10 years. So, fuck you and fuck the Democrats. Never voting Democrat again. And if I don't like whoever the Republican candidate is after Donald Trump, I'm just not voting at all. It's really that simple. And I live in New York, guys. So, voting Republican here literally means nothing. My vote does not count. Okay? So, go to the polls tomorrow if you're a Republican and vote Donald Trump. Again, I've seen a lot of videos of people talking about how they support that man now. So, I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to go on Facebook Live for it as well. So, look forward to that. But that's all I got for this one. Donald Trump, 2024. Make America great again. And fuck Kamala Harris. And Joe Biden for that matter. Agent out.